Alrighty, good afternoon, everybody. Or I guess it is technically the morning for me still. It is 11:17, and we are going to do the first step for the first milestone for the Atwood residence, our final capstone project for Intro to AutoCAD ABT 114. Our goal is to create this floor plan as we see it for this foundation. We are not going to be putting in any text or any dimensions. We will be creating the walls, we'll be creating the footings, the layers associated with each of those, and as well as the pier footings. We'll be putting this on an Arch C title block and submitting this as a PDF. Okay, so where we want to start is you want to open up your Arch C border.dwg file. And the very first thing you want to do after that is you're going to do a save as command right up here. From here, you're going to save it to wherever you save all your files, to your last name, underscore M2. Your last name, underscore, sorry, M1. I am all over the place today. I'm going to save this. The next step I want to do is I want to scale this. Now, before I do anything, because this is a common mistake that occurs, is you may have scaled this already, so you want to make sure that you haven't. So I'll bring out the measure command, and I'll move it in. If it seems to be about 1 foot 6 inches and 7/8 across and 1 foot 5 tall, according to the yellow, you are perfectly fine to continue to scaling. However, if it seems a lot bigger, hold one moment and we'll see if you already pre-scaled it. What we want to do from here is we want to grab the scale command from the modify tab. This guy right here. I'm going to type all, ALL, to select everything. I'm going to hit enter again to confirm my selection. And then I'm going to type 0, 0 to confirm my base point. Enter. And I'm going to do a scale factor of 48. Enter. I'll do a zoom to extents. And now, if I bring up my measure tool, it should be 75 feet 6 inches across and 68 feet tall. This is where we want to work off of. Great time to save. What I'm also going to do, in a later course, I'll show how I did this. But for today, I'm just going to show this like this. Reason being, I want to be able to zoom in on elements and highlight things that I'm talking about. If I'm talking about a certain dimension to a certain wall, I think it's important for me to zoom in on it. And it's really hard for me to do that on a piece of paper. So I have this drawing on the screen. Okay, well, a great rule of thumb is the first place you want to start before actually putting lines on the screen is to set your details and dimensions. Create your layers, your line weights, line types, everything like that. I will always provide a nice big list at the very bottom right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my layer properties. I already have it open on the right side here. And you may notice we already have 3 layers. Those came with the border. I'm going to scooch this over so we can see everything at once. I'm going to click on the new layer icon in here. From here, what I want to do is maybe I don't want to zoom in on that because we want to see all of this. I'm going to name this A wall. And I'm just going to immediately create another layer, A FTNG, A footing. I'm going to change my wall layer to be a nice red. And my footing layer, I'm going to do an orange. Personal preference. Following this, I know my A wall layer is going to be continuous, so I'm going to leave this as continuous. My footing layer is going to be hidden. So I'll click right here where it says continuous next to A footing. And I need to load a new line type. So I'll just click on load. Move this over. I'm going to scroll down until I see hidden. Just like so. And I'll click OK. Then I will select hidden from this line type menu and OK again. And now this accurately reflects. One last thing in this menu, I'm going to change my line weight for my footing to 0.010 or 10 thousandths. And for my wall, I'm going to set it to be 14 thousandths. After I've done that, this is what your box should look like. Or something along these lines. Great. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to start off by drawing the footing or the exterior side of the foundation wall. So I'm just going to zoom out a bit, and I'm just going to be working in here, and I may zoom out. I'll work just like this so I can see everything I'm doing here and here. In my layers panel on the home tab, I'm going to click on this drop down right here and select a wall. From here, I'm going to grab my line tool and I'm going to start drawing, making sure that I am in orthographic drafting with F8. I'm going to pull to the right 37 feet, 4 inches. I'm going to pull up 27 feet, 8 inches. To the left 37, 4. And then down to connect this point right over here. This guy right here, this is this left side. Well, now I'm going to grab my line tool again. Also keep in mind, I'm going to be using keyboard shortcuts because some of these in the future will take forever if I don't. And this is meant to be more of a quick reference guide, not a walk along. Anyway, I'm going to grab my line tool, go to this top right corner as I'm trying to make these, pull to the right. That is a 26-foot dimension. I'm going to go down. I believe that is 26 feet 7 inches, which it is. 26 feet 7 inches. And then to the left, 26 feet. Now, I have the exterior sides of all of these foundation walls. This is a good start. I'm going to grab my offset command, and I'm going to offset 10 inches. Why? As per this sheet, the wall thickness is 10 inches. So I'm going to just do that. Based on where these dimensions go to, I know for this box, I need to pull towards the center of it. And for this guy, same exact deal. So I'm just going to pull this guy inward, to the left, up, the right. Pull this down as well, to the left, and upward. I'm going to use my trim command and clean up these corners. I'm going to be careful to leave these lines here, right here and right there, because the wall heights here and there are different. So these walls are 4 feet tall. The rest of these are, I believe, around 8 or 9 feet tall. So there needs to be a separation to show that. We are almost done already. Next up, I'm going to offset 5 inches to either side of all of these. Why 5 inches, you may be asking? Well, this is 1 feet 8 inches wide. Your footing is 1 feet 8 inches from end to end. 1 feet 8 inches is 20 inches. If it is centered on a 10-inch thing, it's going to be 5 inches additional on either side, because 10 plus 5 plus 5 equals 20. Use my offset command, 5 inches. Don't worry that these are also in the wrong layer. That is perfectly fine. We'll change that later. There's no way to change what layer you are offsetting at any given moment, which is kind of frustrating in AutoCAD. AutoCAD will automatically copy the properties of the layer or of the line you are offsetting. So if I'm offsetting a wall line, even though I have a footing layer active, it will still offset wall, as its pros and cons. What I want to do from here is, this is a little, it's not really confusing, but it can get a little bit muddled. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select using a crossing window on the inside of this guy, just to select all 4 of these, the ones that need to be turned into the footing line. Go into my layers panel and change that to a footing line. We have an issue, and that issue is that our line is really, really thin. But I'm going to ignore that for now. We can change that later. All I care about right now is that my line work is accurate. From here, I'm going to use my match properties command right up here. And I'm going to match the properties to every other footing line. Yes, I don't have one up there. You'll see why in a moment. Okay. Now I have something like this. I'm going to use my fillet commands and my trim command to clean this all up. So I'm going to use trim on these inside corners because it's easier. Go around the drawing once. Let me just verify. Okay. I'm going to trim off this side and in here. And then I'm going to trim off this side. I'll leave that for now because it's an outside corner. Because it needs to extend out a bit more. Trim all that. Trim all this. Wonderful. Now I want to use my fillet command. Clean up these outside corners. I'll bring this line all the way over. Just like so. Again, I'm using the fillet command. And entering or using the space bar will enter you into the last command you were using. It's a great command to use. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my trim command out again, clean that up, because this footing will die into this guy, I believe. Yeah, it'll die into there. So we're just going to draw them like so. I'm going to click on this line right here and move it up using this grip. Just clicking it and then moving it up. We went over this before. And then I'll trim the inside section there. Cool. Now is a good time to do another save. So I'm going to do that quickly. It's a regular save. The last bit of line work I need to draw for this are these circles. Now I want you to notice something. They are the exact same on either side. So once you know how to do one, you know how to do the other. It would be easier to start with the bottom side first because it's a lot less muddled. There's a lot less lines here to get confused by. So my recommendation on how we want to do this is we want to start on this bottom corner here of the foundation wall where we have this 7'4" and 1/4" dimension going from. And we want to go down 7'4" and 1/4. And we're going to have to go to the right by 6 inches as per this dimension here. And then we'll draw a circle on the end of that. Let me just make that little arm first. I'm going to grab my line tool. I'll stay in my footing because I don't really mind it. And again, I'm going to pick this bottom left corner right down here, like so. And I'm going to move over, verify that my dimension is going to be correct. 7'4" and 1/4. I'm going to pull the line down just with my mouse. 7'4" and 1/4. 7'4" and 1/4. Enter. Then from here, with my line tool, I'm going to pull to the right by 6 inches. So just 6, enter. This is the center point of the first circle. A good idea is, and I'll show why in a moment, I'm going to grab a line tool again and just pull up a line from there. And I'll even delete these guys. So I just have a line. This end of this line is where the circle goes. I'll grab my circle tool, and as per this call out up here, 18-inch diameter concrete pier typical, meaning all of these circles are 18 inches in diameter. I'm going to grab my circle tool. I'm just going to use the diameter tool, but you can certainly use the radius one in half the dimension. I am going to click on the end of this guy because that's the center point. And I'm going to do 18 for an 18-inch diameter. Now we have one of these here footings. The next step I'm going to do is I need to recognize that the distance between the center point of each of these 4 footings is 12 feet, 1 and 5/16 of an inch, center to center. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this line I created, this guy right here, and I'm going to use my offset command, OF for me, and I'm going to do an offset of, what is this? 12 feet, 1 and 5/16 of an inch. I will then offset this line to the right once, twice, and 3 times. You may see where we're going with this. I'm now going to select, oh, you don't know that one yet. I'm going to grab my circle tool again, and I'm just going to simply click on the end here, 1/8, circle tool, 1/8, circle tool, 1/8. From here, I will then just delete those extra lines. Now, we do have an other side to do, but I will do that in a moment. This is accurate. This is what we want. Next up, we need to do the other side, and it's the exact same process. Up 7 foot 4 1/4 over 6 inches. Grab my line tool, 7 feet 4 1/4 into the right 6 inches. I'll draw an additional line, and even now what I may do is I may just erase these 2 that helped me get to this endpoint here. Pull out my offset command, and it already saved my 12 foot 1 and 5/16 dimension. Confirm it, and I may as well just offset these to the right now. I'll then grab my circle command, 1/8, enter, circle, 1/8, enter, circle, 1/8, 1/8, enter, and circle, 1/8, enter. And then I'll erase these. Now, it's time for us to address the elephant in the room. These lines are not appearing properly. Well, there's 2 fixes, and realistically, AutoCAD is frustrating for this, because this is not super easy by any means, depending on what your fix is. There's a keyboard command that we've gone over in class a couple times called regenerate. R-E, enter. And I'm going to say regenerate a few times after doing a command just to check the results. All regenerate will do is it's going to refresh the page, essentially. It does nothing besides that. So what I'm going to do, excuse me. Come on, there we go. I'm going to go, my first thing I'm going to try is where it says 1 to 1 down here. I'm going to change this to 1/4 of an inch equals a foot. R-E, enter. And of course, that didn't do it for me. I'm going to change this back to 1 to 1, and I know what is going to work in the end. R-E, enter. There's something called line type scale in AutoCAD, which we will touch on quite a bit, and I will always help you with, because LTS, or line type scale, or PSLTS, print scale, line type scale, or print styles, line type scale, whatever, those are frustrating to get. So what you're going to do from here, I'm going to zoom in so you can see what I'm typing in fully. Where is it? Here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to type LTS for line type scale. I'm going to hit enter, and then it's asking me to enter a new line type scale factor. Well, you may be able to imagine that we're going to be doing 48. And again, why 48? Because 48 is the amount we usually scale things for 1/4 inch equals a foot, because there's 48 1/4 of an inch equals a foot. That's the easiest way I can describe it to you. So I'm going to type 48, enter. And now you can notice these look good. All of these. Alt, not Alt. Here. And this is all I'm looking for a submission. From here, what you're going to do is we're under assignment. You're going to change this to Milestone 1. Your name. You can use your nickname, I don't care. And then your sheet number is going to be A1.1. That's as per the handout that you have. From here, you're going to go to your print menu. And we're going to be doing the setup that we've been doing so far in this course. I'm going to zoom in again to help out. Come on. There we go. I forgot how I had locked it before. Anyway, so what we're going to do is for printer plotter, we're going to change this to Microsoft Print to PDF. That's where we want to print from. Our paper size, we don't want to use a letter, of course. We want to scroll down until we see architecture, C sheet. Plot area, what to plot. We're changing this to extents. I'm going to click center the plot. Turn off fit to paper. Set the scale to 1/4 of an inch equals a foot. Plot style table, changing this to monochrome.ctb. Sure. I'm personally going to click apply to layout, and then I'm going to click preview. Now, this is what I'm looking for. If I zoom in on these pieces, you can't really tell that these lines are different thicknesses yet, but they are, and it does make a difference. I'm going to click on the X icon up here, and then OK. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save it in my term 2 folder in this case. I'm going to save this as my last name, _M2. I saved it. Now what I can do is I can open up that file, that PDF, and just verify some things. Of course, it rotated itself, but that's totally fine. I can always rotate it in my PDF viewers. This is what your final result should look like. Now, after the plotting is completed, it is difficult to notice at first, but this line weight is different than this one. And on paper, it's even more noticeable. Hence why we do stuff like this. Okay, well, thank you very much. Good luck on your Milestone 1, everybody. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to email me, text me, or even call me if it is a dire need. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.